I am a huge fan of Pete Alonso, and I would love to have him back on the New York Mets, but there is one simple reason why Pete Alonso is most likely not coming back for next season, and that is this. It's not Scott Boras, it's not the New York Mets, it's Pete Alonso. One of the big things that I like to look at in life is like, what are the actual responsibilities that we individually can take? And here it is clearly 100% Pete Alonso's choice. He's been offered a contract by the Mets, reportedly not just a couple years ago, but also in this negotiation, and he has turned it down. Now, you can blame it on the agent. Of course, his agent is there to get him the most amount of money possible, but all Pete has to do is say, look, I want to play there. I want to play there. This is where I want to be. And honestly, if I'm giving Pete Alonso any advice completely as an unbiased Mets fan here, say the other side of this that you're completely missing on is the whole value of your brand, Pete Alonso, of being in New York City. One of the best parts about signing a contract with teams like the Mets, the Dodgers, the Yankees, right, is that you are in a major metropolitan area and your brand deals that you can create are so much better than if you end up somewhere else. Okay. And so here's the deal. You can dislike Scott Boras all that you want, understandably so. You can be frustrated with Steve Cohen. You can be, not happy with the way David Stearns, but ultimately the decision as to whether or not to go back to the New York Mets comes down to Pete Alonso himself. And I would love to have him back. My son has a huge Pete Alonso card collection. As a family, we would be crushed not to have Pete back. We want him back. But ultimately, it's Pete's choice because he is being offered a contract. Now, it may not be what he wants, but a contract where he can then use it to develop his brand even more, build his income off of not just the contract itself, but being a New York Mets legend, being all time, being and having that extra oomph that comes with just being potentially a career player with one team, or at least spending the heart of your career with a major team. Is that? Well, I want you to let me know down in the comments below. What do you think on this? Do you blame anyone other than Pete? I know that there's going to be lots of blame poured out on a bunch of places if this reunion does not take place with the New York Mets. But if Nimmo was able to get this done as a homegrown talent, and if Soto was able to get it done as a superstar talent, I figure Pete Alonso is somewhere in between those two. He should be able to get this done if he wants to get it done. And maybe he has to give up a small amount of what he wanted, but what he gains is so much more in marketability, endorsement deals, and legacy. And if those things matter, I think those things need to also be considered in the full equation. So my name is Craig. I am with you. I am the YouTube's smallest New York Mets, Miami Dolphins channel here. And I would appreciate if you hit that like and that subscribe. Beyond that, the big news, of course, Jesse Winker was re-signed today. And if there is no Pete Alonso, where are the Mets going to pivot to next? Lots and lots of talks about Vlad Guerrero Jr., but there's also lots of talks about Pete Alonso potentially going to the Blue Jays to pair up with Vlad Guerrero Jr. So then if not that, then you start to see, okay, are we going to be moving here then in on Alex Bregman, or is there going to be some other play? I certainly expect there to be some bullpen help added here, and maybe if there is no Pete Alonso, even if Bregman comes along, then maybe you see them push for one more starting pitcher in this to try to somehow balance this out. I still see major concerns for the layout and the makeup of this New York Mets roster. However, I am not panicking in the sense of I know those holes can be filled easily throughout the season, and maybe there's enough trust in some of these younger guys to all step up and some of these prospects to move up and make that thing. So I definitely want to know, where are you at in this whole Pete Alonso situation? Where are you at in Vlad Guerrero Jr., Alex Bregman? Leave those comments down below.